This is Tamia, and I'm a SyFy sister, and welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast. I'm here with my girl, Subrina.
Hey.
Say hi, Subrina.
Hey, hi, Subrina.
And our OG SyFy sister, Fran.
Hello. Greetings all.
Welcome to the SyFy Sistas. This is our show. We're talking about Picard. Star Trek Picard today. We're going to talk about episodes 4, 5, and 6 today. So we're really excited to get into that. There's been a lot of great discussion about it. And we can't wait to put our spin on it because you know how we do. Mm-hmm. But here's a disclaimer. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you have not seen Star Trek Picard episodes 4, 5, and 6 at this point, stop listening to us, go watch them, come back, and listen to our show. Because from here on out, this is spoiler zone. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Red alert.
Red alert. So overall, episodes 4, 5, and 6, just overall, you guys, 2 3-word impressions for 4, 5, and 6. Subrina, go.
Oh, brave new worlds created. More than I ever knew about Romulans. And I'm so loving Rios. Oh, baby.
Fran, what about you?
Move the story forward. Just move the whole story forward rather quickly, I might add. And, as Subrina said, I'm not about Romulans, especially the nuns. Okay, but yeah, go ahead.
Yes, we love them gals, don't we?
I love the warrior nuns.
I love, I would say for my main themes for these 3 episodes is really all about character. I enjoyed learning so much more about the characters and they really there were some deep stories that they were telling for each individual character. And I kept thinking like, gosh, these actors must be having a blast playing these roles because there was a lot to dig into, So, well, on that note, let's get started with episode 4, Absolute Candor. We're going to align our sensors with the candor.
Are you trying to say candor?
That's not how you pronounce candor. Candor.
Absolute candor.
She's making fun of you, you big dummy. Okay, so in case you haven't seen Star Trek Lower Decks yet, we just spoiled something for you. It's one of my favorite things, sensors and candor. Okay, so Absolute Candor, this episode was written by Michael Chabon and directed by our friend Jonathan Frakes, and he can do no wrong.
Not with us. He can do nothing wrong.
So the recap says, and this is straight from Memory Alpha, but just in case it's been a while since you haven't seen it, since you've seen this show, I'll give you a recap. The crew's journey to Free Cloud takes a detour when Picard orders a stop at the planet Vashti, where Picard and Muskie relocated Romulan refugees 14 years earlier. Upon arrival, Picard reunites with Elnor, a young Romulan he befriended during relocation. Meanwhile, Narek continues his attempts to learn more about Soji, while Narissa's impatience with his lack of progress grows.
I don't think that raspberry was really in Memory Alpha. I think
okay, that part was a little bit ad-libbed. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
I know. We do, Narek. Okay.
We're going to get to that. Okay, so Fran, do you want to start us off? Your favorite things. What are some of your favorite things, like your top 3?
That little Elnor, he's such a cutie pie.
Oh
And I
yeah.
liked it, when he bonded with Picard and they were doing the fencing, and when he laid against Picard, when he was reading the Three Musketeers to him, I thought that was marvelous. The first look at Soji doing the Data head tilt, it was this episode. I said, "Oh, there's and and I loved it when Raffi asked Picard, "Are you out of your goddamn mind?" And the look on his face was like, "Oh my gosh!" He didn't ask. It's like he said to her a little later on. Oh, she said, "I'm going to be candid with you." He said, "Oh, please, that'll be a refreshing change." So that relationship with them, we really knew. I like those three things. So you know what? Sir Pat Stu can really act without saying a word. Just the
Yes.
expression on his faces and his body language is magnificent. I love it. So those are my three tops.
All right. Go ahead, Subrina.
Well, this is, I think, my favorite episode of the entire 10. I loved the whole creation of this world. I loved all of this information that we got about the Romulans. But it also had one of my favorite lines in it. I'm not sure if they said it. I think they did say it earlier, but they say it again when Raffi is saying she doesn't want to go back to this planet and she's just going to defer to Picard. And she says, "What did we always say?" And he says, "One impossible thing at a time." I just love that statement. That was it for me. And the other thing I loved about it was the Chateau Ready Room. Come on.
Love it.
Knows the man, and his Romulan people. They sent the pictures and everything. They were like, hey, you got to do him up. You got to make him comfortable. So he had his own little Chateau Ready Room with bourbon and everything in there. I was like, yes, birds flying. Love that.
I loved everything that you guys said because I loved all of the same things. And plus, I think that this episode is so quotable. There's so many good one-liners in this episode, like all throughout. The writing was really spectacular, and I think so, like one of my nods goes to the writing, my other nod goes to that beautiful opening sequence, the whole montage, from the close-up of the details of it's like a portrait of their hands. And, you're learning so much about what this place is like just through the hands and the condition that the cards were in. And the lighting was beautiful. I mean, it was just stunning. I mean, I loved all of that. And, my favorite line, one of my favorite lines, I can't say my favorite line because there were so many favorite lines. Well, I had two that really tied, and both of them came from the Kowat Malat, who is my third shout out. The Kowat Malat,
Yes.
the warrior priestesses are my third shout out. A promise is a prison.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a good line. I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's true. Like there's truth in that, like I had to write that down in the journal and like think about that some more, I love that. And then, that makes me feel like, oh, because this is what I love about Star Trek. I actually learn things from watching this show, I'm not just passively entertained,
Yeah, right. It's why for the monsters and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, boy, I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard to break it down to just three, but three top things. But I think one of the other things that I liked about this episode too, was how it dealt with the colonizer philosophy and colonized philosophy. Like I saw third world nations and I saw like, Western powers sort of, the NGOs that go in that try to be of service to third world nations. And like, you have all these happy-go-lucky white folks gallivanting all over the globe doing good and going like, well, why don't people appreciate me? And like, why are they resentful towards me? And,
Right.
And I thought that those issues were dealt with so beautifully, like, and that Picard in his sheer fucking hubris, tore down the Romulans only sign, like, well, I'm coming in here anyway. It's like, dude, who are you?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You left. I love the dressing down that he got, like the back to reality, Fran, I think you wanted to.
Did you notice he was dressed in the typical colonizing, let's say, uniform of his dress when he had the hat on? Remember, because they have some old movies where people are going into Africa and stuff, and they're dressed just like that.
And the linens.
Just like a colonizer. Yes, he's dressed just like a colonizer.
Yeah.
So, and I think they did that I'm pretty sure they did it on purpose.
Yes, only mad dogs and Englishmen. He's doing mad dog and Englishman things. Go out in the noonday sun. Totally. That's a good point, Fran. Yeah, and I love that part where he just took the sign down like, I'm coming in here. Like, no, you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you're not welcome here, and then not understand, and his inability to understand, like, to be like, me? Why are you upset with me? Why are you upset with the Federation? Like, we tried to help you, but, and then he said,
then he just like abandoned them when they stopped everything. They never, they didn't see him for years and years and years. They just abandoned them. And he's wondering why they're upset.
Right.
I thought this was probably all through the first 3 episodes, we have gotten one group of people who have given Picard shit because, you did this. First Starfleet said it to him like, hey, you left, bye-bye. Raffi said it to him like, you left me, see you later. And now here we are, the Romulans are saying, hey, you left us. Elnor says it to him. Everybody's saying it to him like, what are you coming back for? It's just like when Picard was on the ship and they can't get passage, to come down. And he says, well, just contact Central Station and tell them it's me. He's like, dude, that's the first thing we did. And they're not trying to listen to you.
Right.
He was so amazed.
Did you see the look?
Yeah.
He was like, what?
And
so there was another acting thing he did that I thought was on par when they said, well, that was the first thing we did. He's like,
yeah.
Really? Oh, okay. But without saying a word, his body language was like, okay.
I love how the Co-op Malat sister, like, totally, like, stopped him in his tracks. Like, he was, like, about to go on with all these justifications of rationalizations for why he didn't come back. And she was like, put the brakes on that. You couldn't save all of us, so you saved none
of us. Oh.
So you saved none of us. I was like, yes, and that's the truth. And then you realize, by the end of the episode that he's internalizing this lesson that he's learning. He's like, when he tells Elnor that I let the perfect be the enemy of good enough or good,
Right. And he was just like not hearing it. But I think finally he does. And even throughout the episode, you realize that he was just out of date. Like, he didn't know about the state of Vashti. He didn't even know that Elnor had never been adopted. It's like, dude, not even a Christmas card, nothing.
Right.
And now you're coming back like, I want to have a drink and everybody, hey, I'm back. Like, okay.
And I need your help while I'm back.
Right.
That's really why I'm back, because I need your help.
Bye.
Like, I didn't come here just to say hi, and see how you're doing. Like, I really came because I need something.
Yeah. Typical colonizer.
Amazing. It was just like complete, Federation hero. I don't know, just chest. What do you call it? Chest pumping.
Right. I mean, I just thought that they did a really great job with it. And I think, like, some people, like, I've looked at people's responses to it, and this is not the Federation. I'm like, it's totally the Federation. You know,
Right.
like it's totally the Federation. And you, by the way, are totally the colonizer. This is why you don't get it. This is why you don't see it, because you think that you just walk around the world with this privilege and you don't understand that your actions have consequences on other people.
Right. That people are already there. They're not being discovered. I was here. You're coming in, you know, and this is the same thing that happens in Deep Space Nine when they go into the Delta Quadrant and they want to drop communication buoys and they want to drop this. And then they're like, the Dominion is like, I don't know who you think you are, but this quadrant has already got somebody running somebody. And you see it again in even Enterprise where they're dropping things and they're spreading out and here we come, you just become in peace. And the aliens are like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I really like that the later shows sort of got this idea that, yeah, maybe going out into the galaxy and just being all this is not the thing. And here we have it, where we come all the way full circle. Picard is now seeing, you came in, you said you made your promise, you said you're going to do this, you said you're going to do that. It didn't work for you. You left us here, and this is what we have now. Thank you very much, you know?
But Harry Mudd in Discovery told him that, what did you think people gonna do while you were boldly going, you know? And the Klingon said, no, sure, pump the brakes. You know, what do you think? You know, we look up and it's like, okay, you're up there, you know. And I thought what he said was real true, even though I'm talking about Disco, it's a different show. But Harry Mudd really told them exactly what the deal was. You know, y'all flying around boldly going. Somebody said, no, you're not boldly coming.
And the rest of us are living on these planets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Trying to deal with whatever mess you just caused, and you're off, and you're in a nice pristine ship. You get a nice change of clothes, and we're here.
And you're gone.
So you know, I love this episode because of these deep things that, you know, and I got this like with rewatching, right? Like I wasn't taking all this in on the first thing. This time I want to know, what was your head scratcher? You know, what had you go, that you weren't quite sure about, you know, or that you didn't like so much, or you like, this doesn't even make sense. Did you have any head scratchers for this episode?
Oh, you know what my head scratcher was.
Say it.
Why did you have to cut the Black Romulan's head off?
See? Once again, Star Trek is failing. We get a nice, prominent Black person that seems like they've got something going on, and next thing you know, bye-bye.
Their head is gone. They're decapitated.
I would have loved to have seen that character. I mean, here is a Romulan senator that was in the story with Picard, and, you know, rather than have this guy get developed, or even, you know, maybe the thought of possibly coming back, you cut his freaking head off. He's going through all of this mess. And that's, as much as I love Elmo, you know, that's my other little cutie patootie in there. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, really, Star Trek? Why you gonna decapitate a Black man? I got some issues.
Indeed. Fran?
Well, I kind of, because I looked at, of course, I've seen it more than once, but I remember when she went to see, I can't think of the lady's name, but the lady that was the Romulan, she went to see her, and Narek was saying, you know,
Narissa.
came and saw her too. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And she asked Narek some questions, and he never directly answered her about. He said, "Yeah, she's always been this tortured soul or whatever." And she says, "Oh, do you know her?" And he never answered the question.
Oh, you're talking about Soji. You're talking about when Soji and Narek were talking together.
Yeah, Soji. Yeah, and but they were there with, you know, with his. Well,
with
that's
the Romulan
episode.
lady. With the Romulan lady who was up in the ward. She had survived. And she was, yeah.
Yeah. And she had come to find out she was the one that, you know, broke the cube.
Mm-hmm.
But all the Romulans were disordered, as they said. But he never answered her. He just kept talking. She asked him a couple of questions, and I know why later on, but he never answered her questions directly. But I can't say why he didn't now. Well, that was a head scratcher for me.
That's our problem with
Uh,
Derek. He was always saying, not saying or saying something, and she was just listening to this foolishness from this man.
yeah.
This,
And my other head scratcher, the big head scratcher was the relationship between Narek and his sister.
Yeah.
When
mhm.
when I'm like, wait a minute, I have a feeling the way that I got it was that she's always been abusive to him. That's what I got, and I'm like, am I reading this right? Because
I think so.
she's, because she's one of the things that I picked up on, and that's the writers. I think he said, and it wasn't in this episode, but he said to her, "Oh, you came in without knocking," and she said, "Why start now?"
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's deep. That means she been like walking in on him for a long time.
Well, plus her
So I think
interactions with him were so erotic, right? And
Oh,
and
they
and
were.
sensual. Then I was like, dude, do we are we now every time we get a brother and sister duo in a show, does it have to be incestuous? Like just because it was in Game of Thrones, do we have to do that all the time now? Like
yeah. It's
let's
like,
I
hope
never
this
saw
really?
isn't.
Game.
Let's hope
I
it's
never
not a
saw Game of Thrones.
yeah, well, it's there.
Yeah, it's
Trust me,
there.
in a
Yep.
big, 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 big way.
Ew,
Okay.
ew.
But I'm like, let's just not make a trend of this, and I don't know, I don't think that dynamic is necessary. That's one of my head scratchers for the episode. I don't think the only head scratcher I really have for this particular episode, like, I don't think that dynamic is necessary.
Hey.
It's not.
I don't think they need
It's
to
not.
bring the sensual part of it and try to make it like verging on incestuous in order for them to exploit the power dynamic between the two, which is really what they're talking about with the two of them. It's really the power dynamic.
Power dynamic.
Yeah, just being, Narek being the one that, I mean, when she put her hands on his throat, I mean, you have these brother and sister things where it's very violent, where the older sibling is like beating up the younger one, but you didn't have anything,
bullying.
didn't need to have anything sexual in there, but we do in this case. So it was just really weird that they had that whole thing going on.
It was. That was my big head scratcher. Trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we have done absolute candor. I think, actually, I had a lot more positives, a lot more things that I loved about this show, this particular episode, than not. What about this case? Subrina says, well,
didn't we get one more crew member?
Go for it. Talk about it.
Yeah, we have the absolute. We picked up we've completed the Motley Crew with this episode.
Yeah,
in a big way. So we have the big reveal that here she is coming to save the day.
Yeah, we can't leave this episode without talking about 7 of 9. You're absolutely right. We would be remiss because that was a huge part.
Because it's a good battle scene. I like the
but they gave it away.
Lisa, this is spoiler country.
They gave it away during the credits.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't.
We were waiting for it.
Yeah, we knew she was coming.
We just wanted to see how. Tell me you didn't know that was her flying that plane as soon as it came in there, flying that machine. As soon as he said it's a magnificent pilot.
I knew exactly who it was.
Yeah. Right. Oh, when did Janeway teach her how to fly?
It's about to go off at 7 or 9.
Right. She wasn't flying nothing in Voyager. Well, that was Tom. She must have learned that after Voyager.
But she was a former Borg, so they all know everything. I'm sure they assimilated a lot of pilots. That's why she knew everything. That's why she was.
But that was a good entrance. That was one of the best entries I've ever seen.
It was bad, wasn't it? It was really, really bad. I'm like, okay.
I wrote that in one of my favorite things, and I was like, when you guys heard me hesitating, like, oh, I don't know which last favorite thing to put in there. The 7 of 9's entrance was like the last one. I was like, oh, and I mean, like, I was so ecstatic. So, okay, in Voyager, I was not a big 7 of 9 fan because I knew why she was on that show. She was there for TNA. and they thought that they needed to bring the young male audience in there, you know, and the times when they got to let Seven of Nine really kick ass, like I liked her character then. I didn't dislike her character. I just didn't need her. My family, my little Voyager family was intact without her. I didn't need her. And then the fact that it became like the Seven of Nine and Doctor, like, you know, review, musical review half the time. Like I wasn't down with that either. Like I was not a musical theater person. I didn't need to see somebody singing at me all the time. Yeah, I'm like, yes, I know Robert Picardo can sing. Okay, next, moving on. Yeah. You know, but now, like the way that they brought her back in this show, and she was so badass. You know, the outfit is great. She's out of the cat suit. Thank God. You know, and she's kicking ass, and she's
the corset. Don't forget the corset.
Right, and the corset. And you know, so she's kicking ass. She's a real character now. She's been through some knocks. She's embittered. You know, she's battle tested. You know, she's really sure of herself and where she is and who she is. You know, and I like the Seven of Nine a lot.
You got all that from that one little scene where she just fell to the ground, huh?
Yeah.
But she did the little 7 or 9 thing though. She did, because she had a certain head tilt in Voyager. And I think the only thing she did that, but the only thing that I think that saved her in my eyes, because I know, you know, we all know she was there for TNA, is that Jerry Ryan can actually act.
True.
That was my saving grace for her.
She can act her little butt off.
Grace for her. That's the only thing that saved her, because if she was like one of these airhead, blonde head looking, you know, women that couldn't act, I would have been like, okay, Voyager, I don't want to see this anymore. But she could actually act. That was her saving grace for me. But I knew why she was there.
One of my other little favorite minutes in that scene was when Elnor looks at Picard. She's got the sword ready to chop her head off. He looks at Picard, he says, nope. And he looks back and he's like, okay, I won't chop her head off.
Yes!
Elnor's like, kill her? Can I kill her?
He was ready.
He was ready to start swinging.
Had that sword at the ready.
He had it at the ready, but he did exactly what Picard had said to him. Don't you kill anybody else until I tell you.
Don't kill him. Not until I tell you to kill him. You don't chop nobody's head off unless I tell you so. Okay?
Oh my God, that was so cute the way he looked. Can I?
Okay. And one last little thing. I'm going to slip in one last little thing before we move on to Stardust City Rag, because we really need to move on. The last little thing was my favorite little snide little quip that Rafi got in on Picard. She said, the man can't even take a guilt trip without using a starship.
Well, uses a starship.
Right. Right.
Okay. All right, Rafi. That's my girl.
Great writing. Great writing.
And then she imitated him. She said, oh, what did he say? Let's make a let's head to Vashti, and you just lay a course to Vashti.
Lay a course.
She had him down, so she can call him JL all day long, because she's like, yeah, what do you want to say to me? You want to tell me not to call you JL? I'll try it.
Okay, yeah, so absolute candor, that's a thumbs up in our book.
Yes.
And from here on out, it shall be referred to as absolute candor. Candor.
Okay, candor.
Candor. Okay, episode 5, Stardust City Rag. This episode was written by Kirsten Beyer and directed by Jonathan Frakes, again. Yeah. Oh, gosh, I love him so much. Okay, the recap. The La Sirena crew begins an unpredictable and lively expedition on Free Cloud to search for Bruce Maddox. When they learn that Maddox has found himself in a precarious situation, a familiar face offers her assistance. Okay, Fran, do you want to start this time with your favorite things, or did you start last time? It doesn't matter. Fran, you want to go with your favorite things?
Okay. Favorite things. Of course, Rios in his pimp costume. The only thing that kind of, well, that's my favorite. I like the way that he was portrayed there. And I like the way that, because I saw a little bonding with Raffi and Seven when she was showing her about the handcuffs and everything. And she leaned in and she kind of whispered and said, I admire what you do out there. I thought that was a connecting moment for the two of them. I like that. I noticed that. And my very funny favorite scene in the whole show was when Pepe Le Pew, Picard was standing next to 709, and he was talking about her. Did y'all see the look on her face? And that was real too. That was real. I thought I would pee my pants. The look on her face when he was doing when he was doing that, fake accent. And I know that they broke up several times doing that scene. I loved it. Look at the look on her face, her eyes. That little eyebrow goes up, like, this fool here, But that was, in the whole series, the funniest thing to me. I loved it. I just loved it because it was hilarious. And he was so out of character. That's that Sir Pat Sue's great acting again, that he was kind of believable, I just heard Pepe Le Pew. That's it, It was priceless. That's priceless. It was just,
Oh my God.
It was priceless. That's it.
So my favorite
That
thing,
was my favorite.
My favorite thing was Mr. Vup.
I love Mr. Vup.
Mr. Vup was too much when he was talking about, you had some sort of smoked meat. That guy was scary looking. He was built. I mean, he was talking about, he had 1,200 olfactories. He says, you smell truthful. I was like, Lord Jesus, let me out of here. But then that was crazy. My other favorite thing was Elnor through the whole thing when they were getting him dressed and he started to speak Spanish. I get grande or something he said. He was trying to be like Rios. I just died. I mean, everybody had some fake accent going on in this thing. And he could not figure out. He goes, are we all pretending to be someone else?
Right. He's like, oh, everybody is pretending.
He was such a fish out of water.
He didn't know. Is Candor out the window? He didn't know what was going on. Everybody was lying. It was just like amazing to him. And then my other favorite thing in this was Jazel's costume. I love that costume. I'm like, okay. We had that little kind of intendant wannabe thing going on the hair, and then the outfit, and it had like cap sleeves. I was like, what is going on here? I love the whole ensemble.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it looked like an 80s chorus girl, like sci-fi version thing, like mashup. I was like, what?
What she got on?
What? Like, who came up with this? What? I mean, like, is this our nod to the fact that every time they think about fashion in the future, it's always the most whacked out shit?
It is.
Who's wearing this ever?
Oh, well, even in the bar scene where the man had the angel wings, I was like, what on in the world? The have to have bar scene. I'm like, do we really have to have a bar scene in every sci-fi thing now? Thank you, Star Wars. I mean, come on.
That's what you gotta have.
All right, here we go. Playing Scott Joplin music, whatever. But it was a good scene. I liked it. Something made it worthwhile being in that bar one more time.
I know, right? Well, I, first of all, Bejazel, I said, Deanna Troy's evil little sister, I mean, when I first saw her, I was like, did they purposely cast her because she looked like young Troy? You know,
Yeah.
amazing. I had to look at her a couple of times. I too wrote down Mr. Vup. I loved the new race, the Beta Inari.
Yes.
I love the new race. And like you guys have said a lot of the things that I liked about this episode. The other thing that I liked about this episode, because it took me several times of rewatching and just seeing Measure of a Man from TNG last week, that this is the same Bruce Maddox that was arguing, trying to dissect
dismantle
data, and arguing that he was not sentient. And then now he's on this quest to create sentient droids,
that's what he was trying to do.
So I mean, I didn't make the connection for a long time, that this is the same. So it made it just it added a whole nother layer of depth to the story, that this is this is the end of his journey, the culmination, that's the word I'm looking for, the culmination of his lifetime of work and
he started years ago
with trying to disassemble my boy Data. Now he's got Data's kids, now he's helping to build Data's kids, And
I also, because it was Bruce Maddox, I forgave him for giving away Picard's identity like a fool. Picard? I was like, oh.
I know, right? Right?
Bruce, you're still a wonk.
Still you don't get it.
But you know what? But I could kind of see it because, they had really worked him over.
Yes, I gave him a pass.
Because he was down there bleeding and, dehydrated and ribs broken and everything. He'll look up and see somebody that was kind of like, oh, somebody I know, Picard, So I kind of like, okay, because he was in such a bad shape.
Yeah, you're right, Fran. Give him a pass. Sabrina.
I gave him a pass because, I was like, all right, he's seeing Picard and she had a little Trania hangover.
Yeah.
He had a Trania.
So I have a question for you guys, because I have another really favorite part of this episode, but I want to save it for a minute because I want to ask you guys about the opening scene. What did you think of the opening scene with Icheb and Seven?
Oh my God. Rewatching, I skip over it. I can't. I have to skip until she comes in and she actually kills him. I like that part I can watch, but I can't even watch the first part of it. Every rewatch, I skip over the torture. It was just, what a scene. What a scene.
I do the same thing. I skip, when I'm looking at it again, I skip over the opening scene until she comes in, to 7 to 9 comes in and kind of saves him by doing what she did. But I can't watch it. I can't. But I think, now this is personal, I think it was done for a reason. And I won't go all into the deep thing, but I think they did that to that character for a reason. And it's a personal reason that they did it to the character. But I didn't like it at all, and I won't look at it. I'll just skip through that part. It's too graphic.
It's really graphic, and that's the thing. It's a hard story to tell, right? What she was telling, and this is akin to horrors that are going on in our own world right now that people don't like to think about, but that are actually happening, trafficking of children and, and selling them as sex slaves and things like that, but he, it's not something that we're used to seeing in our Star Trek world.
No.
Right?
Not that graphic like that.
Not this graphic. This was something really new for us. And, I wonder, I didn't see, what did you guys see in the rooms about this particular scene? Was there a lot of debate about it that you saw?
I think a lot of people were really...
Well, some people thought, like I thought, why they did. Yeah.
Go ahead, Fran.
Well, like I say, I think it was a personal thing. I think the writers did it as a personal thing.
What do you mean when you say that?
3 times now. You got to come up with it.
Yeah, because we don't understand what you mean, what you're talking about.
Okay, you know the original guy that played Icheb,
Yes.
M Manu, whatever I can't say his name.
Manu
You know
Itriyama or something.
Thank you. Okay, when the thing first came out with Anthony Rapp and oh gosh, I can't think of his name.
Kevin Spacey.
The guy that. Thank you. Manu took Kevin Spacey's side and said, "Oh well, nothing happened," and he basically said that Anthony Rapp was lying and he didn't care. He actually said, "I got proof because it was on his IG thing." So I think what they did because he was chomping at the bit to go back. He wanted to go back on Picard. He wanted to be, but they didn't even call him. They got somebody else to play the part, and they got rid of Icheb and like the worst way that they could possibly get rid of him. I think it was personal, y'all.
Well, I think there's also more to that story too. There was a whole nother chapter to that story because he actually did this whole reconciliation with Anthony Rapp.
Okay, but
like no, I'm just hold up before I'm just saying like I think your point is valid though that they probably didn't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole for Picard, but I just want to say like if we're gonna that there was more to that story. The story didn't end with that post. The story actually ended in a really different way. No, I just want to say because we brought it up, I want to present the whole thing. That's all.
Okay, but I know that he apologized, and I know that Anthony Rapp accepted his apology. I know that part.
But our listeners didn't hear us say that, so now they have.
Right.
Okay, yeah, he did apologize, and Anthony publicly accepted his apology, but we don't know what went on in the background. We don't know what happened.
So we're going to leave it there.
I just
wanted him off the show. Okay.
Exactly. They wanted the character off the show because they did not invite him back.
Okay.
To play the part.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get the original the guy that played oh gosh. The man you just said was on the ground and said Picard. They couldn't get him because
the original guy who played Bruce Maddox, the original man who played Bruce Maddox.
They couldn't get the original Bruce Maddox because he was he teaches now.
Right.
And he couldn't get away to play the part.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
This guy was a good he really kind of embodied him. He was a really close match.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one thing I wanted to ask you guys about. Then the other thing that I wanted to get to really quickly with this episode is Raffi going to see her son. That whole story arc and how powerful that is. First of all, for me personally, as somebody who's 5.5 years sober, like her struggle with her addiction is hits very close to home, right? And I see her portray this character with so much truth, but outside of that, it was just those actors were incredible. She was incredible. I wish I had his name in front of me, which I don't. The actor who played her son was really phenomenal.
Gooding. His last name is Gooding. He's Cuba Gooding's son.
Is he really now?
Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son.
Wow. Look at that. He is. Yeah, he was good. I mean, like, he was so compelling. Like, I couldn't stop watching him. And I was like, gosh, it would be lovely to see him again, hopefully at another part of Raffi's journey.
That's what I was thinking, too. I wanted to see that whole thing. Because I don't think that they would have brought him in for that whole big scene if he wasn't going to come back. I'm kind of hoping.
Right.
To put a face and a name and a scene and a whole thing. I mean, I understand that they could have given us some explanatory background. She just could have come back and like, oh, my son hates me. But she didn't. We had that whole thing. So I loved it. I felt really bad for him because he was just Mason Gooding. That's his name.
Mason. All right.
Yeah.
What's up, Mason? Big shout out to Mason Gooding.
Yeah, we're looking for you. We're looking for you, Mason. We're looking for you.
Yeah, he did.
Even the body language, he had it down pat when she
Oh
went to
God.
touch him, and he was like,
Oh, he
like,
just
oh
oof.
my gosh.
And
And can I just
Raffi said at one point when Picard said he wanted to go to Free Cloud, she said, "I can't stand the place." But then she was ready to like go there and live with her son. You know, she was ready to put up with Free Cloud if that's where her son was going to be. I thought that was
Right.
big. I thought that was big. She hated it.
and I want to kind of piggyback on that because I'm also a person with some years in recovery, and I could really relate to that scene. I could really, really relate to it, and it's just really touching to be a parent and to go through what I went through, and it rang so true. I'll put it that way. It rang
And
Mhm.
really true to me.
and the
You
fall
know.
back and the
hmm
fall back and
Mhm.
she
Yeah,
was
but
she
I would also like to see her go back to him or him come to her. If they come back and say, Mom, you were right. You were right about what you did. Maybe you went about it the wrong way, but you were right. And maybe apologize to her just for that part because, she's back and she's trying to make amends and everything. But just for that part, for him to say, you were right, Mom.
because she got up in his face about that when he started talking about, oh yeah, the Mars
It
thing, and
was
she was like,
crackpot.
there was a conspiracy. She started up like,
Yeah.
no, I am right, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was really
She
good
said,
when she just was like, no, I'm not even letting that go.
yeah,
Right.
she said, that was not crackpot, and she was
Hmm.
right. I want them to rank. And I thought it was really something that, but they do the visuals here, that his wife was actually an old school Romulan
Right.
Yeah.
from, the ones we know from TNG, one of
Yes,
those
she
old
was.
school Romulans. I'm like, okay, all right. And she was really nice to her, I was like, oh, okay. But
Hell,
I'm like, okay, Star Trek.
Right.
I think we're
But
gonna see them again. I'm hoping for another visit from the
Me
kids.
too.
me
Just drop
too.
in, maybe with the grandbaby.
Oh
And
yeah.
maybe that grandbaby. I want to see that pretty grandbaby. But
Me too.
like I know, right? But while we're speaking of Romulans, really quickly, I love what they're doing with Romulans in this show, makeup wise.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
just so beautiful and so like how they're personalizing it. I saw that short the
Mhm.
clip that they put out about the makeup
The
process
eyebrows.
for
Hmm.
doing each
Mhm.
individual hair,
Mm.
going
Mhm.
along the person's natural eyebrow line ridge. I mean, just amazing work they're doing. They look so
Well,
good.
they only, if you think about it, and if people think this through, we only saw one type of Romulan on TNG. We really did. We only saw one type of Romulan on TNG. But if you think about on the Earth, how different humans can look, why can't
Exactly.
Romulans look different?
Exactly. That's what I love
You
about this
know?
show. This attention to
Mm-hmm.
detail, and moving away from this really homogenous portrayal of these other
Mm-hmm.
alien races, right?
Racist.
There's
Mm-hmm.
only one type of like one look for Romulans, one look for Vulcans, one look for Klingons. No, there's variety in our species, and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like, can we just speak truth to that?
We
Like,
did get
geez.
we saw one black Romulan in TNG. There was one black Romulan.
Right.
One
One,
captain.
once.
Yeah, one captain. But
And yeah.
one. I
Oh,
love that I love that the Romulans are the aliens of this series because they were my
Mm-hmm.
favorite aliens from original series. They were the first
What?
aliens, they were the first ones. They came out before the Klingons, they were the Romulans. And the Romulans were always doing something not up to snuff, do some wild stuff, some deceitful, all kinds of crazy
yes.
stuff,
Didn't they?
changing Troy into something. And they had Geordie at one point. I'm like, Lord Jesus, these people are twisted. But
Oh, they
I love them,
are.
even
They
from
really
Balance
are.
of Terror, which is one of my
I
top
Oh,
love
Star
I
Trek
Balance of
love that
Terror.
episodes
episode.
of the entire 50 whatever years. Balance of Terror is one of the best ever.
Hmm.
That's my favorite.
Ever.
That's my second. That's my second favorite episode of TOS. Is Balance of Terror.
Balance of Terror, boy.
Journey to Babel is my first one, but Balance of Terror is my second one. And guess what? My third was when Spock and them went on to the Vulcan ship to get the remember the lady commander?
The commander, Vulcan.
Spock was like almost in love with her.
Yeah, the Vulcan commander. Woo! So the Enterprise incident.
Yes. Okay.
So, and the thing I love about the Romulans, I think all through all of the franchises, if you bear with me on this, there was always one Romulan that would say something like, if not for this war, we could have been friends. Even Mark Leonard said it to Kirk. You know, he said, if we weren't doing this, you know, I admire you. The Romulan said it to Picard at one point. He said, if only we weren't doing this, you know. And so you saw this a lot with the Romulans, that they were this militaristic society, but not all of them were buying it. And some of them were like, man, if we just weren't spending all this time doing this craziness. And I always loved that went through it went through the franchises a bit with the Romulans. They were always a little sympathetic.
Yeah.
Always one that was
always
like,
one. There was one that was like, yeah, even that one where they had the differences in the time. They had the difference in the time, and they were talking through the thing. Love it. All right, I'm done with Romulans. I love them.
Yeah, okay, because we spent a lot of time on Romulans, but we didn't talk about Agnes killing Bruce Maddox.
Oh, you know,
right.
I mean, and you know, like, what's up with that?
What's up with that? Was a shockaroo, though. I have to tell you,
that was. I was like, I sat there, my jaw was on the ground.
Really? I rolled it back. Like, is she gonna kill him? He's not dead.
Is he really dead?
I
want to see how they're gonna deal with that in season 2. I really want to see what they're gonna do.
I thought the EMT was gonna come, or the EMH was gonna come and save him. I was like, something's gotta happen here. Wait.
And Elnor says to her, you know, when Picard snaps at her, you know, oh no, was that the next episode?
I think that's the next episode.
Yeah.
Okay. When she glares at him.
Yeah.
He said, was I embudding?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I thought that was I thought that scene was spectacular too. I really think that these actors are doing such an incredible job. And she, even though I don't like her character very much, but I love the job that she's doing portraying her.
Her acting is great.
Yeah, I mean, just amazing. Like, this is a really well cast show. These people know how to. They know they are really casting the right people for the right roles, because the people that they're getting are just perfect for the roles, and they're great actors. So I'm like, okay, y'all know what y'all doing. I just trust that they know what they're doing, and they do. I think they do. Yeah. We're definitely in good hands. In good hands going into the next episode, The Impossible Box.
Okay, but wait a minute. I got one thing to say. My head was scratching. I love Rios. He's so sexy and all that stuff, but the guy has no rhythm whatsoever. I could not believe that. Remember, he was walking in the bar and the music was playing. He was like rhythmless. I'm like, oh God. He has no rhythm. If you look at that scene again, and he's supposed to be, you know, bouncing to the music, he is so off. I'm like, oh God, no rhythm. Come on. Okay, so I just had to say that.
The feather was throwing him off balance.
I know, right?
And the feather. Okay,
and
we'll go with that.
And the heels and those boots.
Okay, the feather and the heel. Okay,
he wasn't really selling it to you, huh? He wasn't selling it to you, Fran.
Not at all.
You really got to sell this. None of that existential brooding spaceman stuff.
Spaceman brooding, you know. But when he was walking in it, I mean, look at it again, guys. He has no rhythm.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out again next time. All right.
All right. That's all right, baby.
Now we're getting to episode 6.
Okay, but what? Okay, wait a minute. We're not gonna talk about Bejazel and Annika. Didn't y'all see? Because I picked that up from the first beginning about them being.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah,
I
they were
missed that on the
girlfriends.
first time that I watched it. I got it on the second time.
I got it on the first time.
I think I
I
was
got it
watching
from. I
so
got
much
it on the first
stuff. No, I
time.
think I did. Did I get it on the first time? Because she was pretty blatant about it.
She was right up in her face, baby. When she called it Annika, I was like, oh, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
when she
When she
called
hey.
her
said
Annika.
Annika, I knew it. I knew it right then. And then when Seven said, "No one has ever been worth more to you than me," and I slipped right out of your fingers. That is lover talk right there. That's lover talk, guys. So, and I saw it, and I was the one with Shavon. I wrote into Shavon and said, "Was that sexual tension there?" He said, "Definitely, definitely, it was sexual tension there." Okay, all right. I had to bring that up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, like, we can't have a discussion of that episode without that. You're absolutely right.
Without
Yeah, and we have to acknowledge that. And I think that's so interesting how they're interweaving these things, these dynamics through the stories without being like hitting us over the head and like, hey,
blatant
guess what?
about it,
People are
yeah.
gay. Guess what? They're gay. Hey, did you know we have to have gay people in the future? Look, here's one.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
Mhm. So I like it the way that they have it. They're inclusive.
Yeah,
Like it being made and knocking you over the head like a club would.
right.
She was always playing her.
Played her,
27,
yeah,
27.
the Jazel. Mm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
she got her comeuppance. That's all.
She
I
got
can
her
say.
comeuppance, right?
Yes,
Fine.
she is.
You guys, are we going to make it to episode 6 or are we going to have to do a whole nother podcast?
I think we have.
No, we're going to make it to episode 6. Come on now. Here we go. Episode
Okay,
6,
we're
The
gonna
Impossible
rush
Box.
through it
Impossible
then.
Box. Let's
The
go.
Impossible Box.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to start this one off.
Yes, you do it.
Okay. My favorite thing about this episode, outside of Rios with no shirt on, was the way that they framed Picard's Borg experience and his return to a cube, and showing that trauma does not just magically disappear and go away, that trauma lasts and has years to heal and layers upon layers of healing to do, you know. And I thought that was a really wonderful statement that they were making. And it's so, this is why I love so much of the new Trek, because we've sat around for years talking about this stuff about our Treks. Like, you know, how many times have we been in discussions of like with people and said, oh yeah, well, they just bounce right back. And what was mental health?
Brian's fine
You
the
know,
next day.
you know, and so this is really building on what we've done before, where we've gone before, and bringing so much more depth to it, you know. So that's my first favorite thing. Sabrina, what about you?
What I loved about this one, actually, I didn't like it at first, but looking at it in the rewatch, the scene between Rios and Agnes got on my nerves at first, but I watched it again, and just like Fran is saying, the acting that Alison Pill did when she said those lines, he goes, what are you feeling right now? And she said, hollow, hopeless, lonely, and afraid. And I was like, and then he said, do you think this is going to help any?
Right.
Like, you know, yeah, you want to roll in the hay with me? He's like, I'd recommend it. He was all for it. And I was sort of like, why would anybody say yes to that when you know but then he didn't know what she had done. So I have to remember that he didn't know that she killed Bruce. So he just thought like, yo, yeah, your boy died and, you know, you had some grieving sex. Is that what you want? I don't know. Yeah, hey, come on. But he kind of like talked it out and listened. I know, I'm so bad.
Grieving sex.
Why would he
but
say
it's true,
yes to her?
It's true.
Grieving
Sometimes,
sex, okay.
Sometimes sex is that.
Yeah.
He asked her. She gave her answer. He said, do you think this is going to help you any? She said, yes. He said, then okay.
Yeah, she said yes for, you know, a few minutes. You know, she said
she knew.
For a few minutes.
Right.
Right.
As soon as he heard, okay, you know this isn't going to really.
I thought she said about an hour or so.
No, she said no. She said this will help for whatever. It was short time. But as soon as
Okay.
he knew that she knew this was a Band-Aid for a second, he was down with it. So I kind of gave him, I said, my honey bunny, I feel bad too. I'm feeling sad. I'm lonely. I'll kick a soccer ball around with you, babe. Okay, stop. All right.
Yep.
Here, kick it to me.
Kick it to you. Kick it.
My favorite part was that for the first time since looking at, the Borg, I saw them as Picard said, they're victims, not monsters. They're victims. They're victims, and I thought that this episode and this series changed my thinking of the Borg, because they didn't ask to be assimilated. Most of them were assimilated against their wills. And then they became part of the collective. Mm-hmm. And when they was, and I said, oh my gosh, they are, and I don't know why I didn't think of that at first. They were victims themselves because they were assimilated against their wills. And now they're not, they're reclaiming them and everything, but they were just as much a victim as anything. They did stuff against their wills and they were victimized against their will. So I like the fact that I could see the Borg differently now. I loved it.
Yeah. Subrina?
It was weird that because, when you say that they were victims, and we know that they assimilated, like you said, entire civilization, entire races, that you never got a sense of who was really the natural first Borg. I've never read the books or anything. And the Queen, but, you never got a sense of who was really in charge, who was making this collective do all of this. Like once you were part of it, you were part of it. But it always got me that there was almost like headless, like you were just in this thing and you were just all going towards the end of the cliff and going over. You were just the collective. So it was, and I think that was why it was so scary, because you were just like, oh my God, this really. I don't know who to fight because you're all in it. I don't even know.
I put that hive mentality.
Yeah. I wrote down one of the notes that I took on the show that was that one of my favorite parts is the montage when Picard goes onto the cube, right, for the first time. And that's the first time in the series where we see the artifact. The artifact is not the artifact, it's the cube. It's represented in the visual terminology that we're so used to that equated to scary Borg, it's the first time that takes us, that we're really visually seeing the Borg that we used to know. And that feels familiar. That felt really good. I think that's another reason why that whole part was really powerful for me. It was because up until this point, we've seen the cube as the artifact. It's this new thing. It's not recognizable as a Borg cube, and it inspires no fear at all. Even when they try to have these little moments where ooh, is the Borg gonna snap? We all know the Borg is not gonna snap. It's not working. There's just nothing ooh, spine tingly about it, because the emphasis is on, for lack of a better word, humanizing their character. I'm not trying to be speciest, but humanizing their character, but I love that because we get to see the Borg like we used to, because we're seeing it through Picard's eyes of his trauma. We're not seeing the artifact as the artifact. We're seeing it as the Borg cube. And then Subrina, you brought up a really interesting point, because all the Borg that we ever saw were not only were they humanoid, they were straight human assimilations. We never saw Borg assimilated from other species assimilated. You never, you didn't see if they never could assimilate them. But you only ever saw humans assimilated. They talked about how the Borg assimilated all these other species, but you never saw it.
Yeah, it was always.
I think we saw some different species in Voyager, and I can't point out the episodes, but I think we saw just a few. You can count them on your hands.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Well, each of us still like. I mean, he might as well be human. He had he's a Bajoran or something. Like, I mean, like he had a little thing. I know. He had a thing on his nose. That was his makeup. You know,
right. But basically humanoid.
But, you're so not human. You got wrinkles on your nose. Ooh, that's.
I want a Tellarite board.
You got a different forehead. You know.
Ooh.
But Oh, I forgot.
Okay. All right. But moving on. Okay. Any other strong call outs for this episode?
I loved the dream sequence. So we first get Soji's dream sequence, and it was creepy.
Yes.
So you really were like, what is going to happen? And it looked like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Don't go in that room. So I love that sequence. That was good.
So, and she's laying there in pieces.
I forgot to say that this episode was written by Nick Zayas, or Zayas. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Zayas. And I think this is one of his first. This is his one of his first episodes that he's written for any Star Trek. And it's directed by. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Do you?
Yeah. No, I don't. It sounds like a.
It's either Maya or Maja, Maja, Vervillo, Vrvilo.
Yeah, so we have the second string coming in, and they did a great job.
Yeah, who also directed the disco episode Perpetual Infinity, and she also directed the Short Treks episode Runaway.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought this was a great episode. I love the whole Borg cube thing, and I especially love the getaway at the end. Although I didn't know why everybody couldn't just get in the machine and go, but okay, fine.
Please, my friend.
Did you think
choose to live?
You know what? I know, right? That was he said, please, my friends. It was such a good line. Again, it's still a good line.
It is.
You know, did you think that, who were the people that had the Iconian gateway?
Yeah.
Did you think that it was an Iconian gateway
He didn't say Iconian, but it looked like it.
It looked like it, but they said it was from some completely other planet.
Something planet.
It was from Voyager. It's Voyager. It was a race on Voyager. Remember, and they wouldn't share it with them.
Right.
Oh, it's
they were all about pleasure.
They got assimilated by the Borg.
They got assimilated by the Borg. Well, they were in the Delta Quadrant, so they got assimilated by the Borg.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the race, species, but that's where it was from, the Voyager episode.
Also, Fran, I'm sorry, did you have another strong call out for this episode?
I was puzzled, when Raffi was just about falling down drunk and she did what she did for them to get on the thing. I was puzzled by the clapping of her doing what she did. I wasn't comfortable with that at all.
Picard pissed me off.
She was really, she was really, I mean, she did what she did because, even drunk, she was the smartest person in the room.
Right.
But they didn't really deal with her except for Rios taking her back to her room. She was really messed up when she
was so devastated when her son apparently, but
Emily.
with Emily, apparently she's an ex-lover.
Yeah, sounds like it.
That's what it sounded like to me because she said about you only call me when you're lit or you want to or when you're being sentimental.
Right, when you're being sentimental, that was the clue.
Yeah,
that
was the clue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like when she said, "Don't ever call me again," that was devastating.
That was,
really devastating. So I too was. So that moment shares one of my favorite moments of the episode as well as one of my least favorite moments.
Yeah,
I was kind of bothered by it.
Yeah, Picard
I was bothered by it too because,
Picard didn't seem to care at all. He was just they got the diplomatic path. It's just like
she did what I needed for her to do. So who cares if she's falling down drunk and she just lost one of her best friends?
Right, she just burned the last ticket there.
Yeah, I think that is what upset me about it was that he just totally brushed over that. Just good job, Raffi, good job, and and she's broken.
Yeah,
she is. She's broken.
So he hasn't learned the lessons yet.
No.
He's getting there, but he has not learned it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just got to bring this up because I can't keep it to myself anymore. I have issues, y'all. I have serious issues. I have issues, yes, and it's like it kept me up last night after I was watching this stuff again.
Oh Lord.
The whole Soji Narek story, the whole arc of it, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's just so annoying on like every level to me. It only gets interesting when he's trying to kill her. All of a sudden, we got an interesting story, because the whole rest of the time I've been dealing with their stupid asses. They've been like, they knew each other for 2 seconds. They hopped into bed and all of a sudden and every moment, this is their story. This is it. You don't seem like you're very honest with me. I'm not a very honest person. Okay, let's have sex anyway.
The whole time.
And then the next thing I don't know what to expect. So what I'm supposed to expect that this girl is that dumb?
Really? How do you know I call my mother every night? Oh, well.
Everything.
He's telling you he's a spy, you robot, stupid shit.
I mean, it's just so annoying. Everything about it is annoying to me.
Right. She's just going to take her shoes off and start sliding down the ventilator shaft or whatever. Like, whatever.
No, like redirect. Like, she's going to ask him a direct question and he's like, guess what? I'm going to kiss you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, Soji, come on. It was the last straw was when he said, oh, I know a way for you to get to figure out what this is. So I thought it was taboo for non-Romulans. He said, yes. And so she's like, oh, sounds like a plan. Right. Taboo means you're gonna die.
Yeah.
I was like, throw it in there and lock the door and turn on the poison. Yeah, gas.
But
stupid.
Also, but I'm thinking about just like Data. She was pretty naive. I think she was naive and she fell into it, and he was giving her all the red flags, and she just kind of ignored it. Remember how Data wouldn't get shit. Just wouldn't get it, And someone had to explain it to her. She didn't have a girlfriend like Jordy who was explaining things to Data. She just like, okay, I'm going. Okay, I fall asleep after I only talked to my mom only 70 seconds or something. Okay, whatever. All right.
Doesn't that happen to other people?
It was just stupid. I couldn't listen to it. It was just amazing.
I prefer naive. She was really naive. She didn't.
She said it. She said naivete is my default. I'm like, Bruce.
She did say that. Yeah.
What did you build this in her for?
Right. Like you, and I think, okay, so here's the thing. I think one of the reasons why I'm so annoyed by them is because, and I want so much, I desire so strongly for her to be a different woman, is because she touches on that pain that I've lived through already in my life. I was really naive when I was a girl. I did get taken in by older men, by men in general, period. Told me all sorts of shit. And I was just like, okay. I'm just like, really?
Oh, he really likes me.
Right. And I know the older women in my life were looking at me like, are you kidding?
Girl.
We're trying to tell you, but you're not listening, So I think that's why I feel so strongly about it. But also the other reason that I feel strongly about it is because I simply didn't like almost any scene, the dialogue in almost any of the scenes. Like it's just, I don't know, it just fell flat to me. It just wasn't interesting. Like I'd find myself playing games on my phone and stuff while they were on. They just couldn't keep my attention.
And Narek is just totally repulsive to me. I can't even stand it. I can't, don't, no, boo, boo.
Dang, is he that bad?
Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, come here.
No, Narek, I can't stand Narek. I can't stand his character, I should say.
No.
you know.
He's good when you're right. As soon as he was trying to kill her, the whole scene from when he took her into the room and he told the sub commander, another scene that I had me scratching my head. Why are you going to talk to the black sub commander? Why is the black sub commander so stupid that he's going to open the door with the radiation coming out? Okay, whatever. But, and then he's going to dress him down. We could take those pips off, whatever he said to him. I was like, hey. So, right. Narek got better then because now he was acting like, and he started to sound smart in this episode where he was going through why he was going to turn on her dream. I mean, I said, okay, this is why this guy is after her. He's got that kind of brain, but otherwise he's just like this little whoop ass. Your sister's beating you up still. You're a grown ass man, scaring you half to death. Just beat the bitch up, tell her to frick out your room. No, you're going to be all stupid. But he finally turned into somebody that I said, okay, here's a worthy opponent.
Yeah, I think like out of all the storylines, the character lines that we've had in the show, in the show up to this point, theirs is the weakest.
It is. I agree.
I mean, and Narek and his sister, that's weak, and Narek and Soji is weak.
Yeah, you're right. Every time they come on, I'm like, oh God, what now?
I know.
I like the Picard. I like the Picard stuff. The actual Picard.
Mm-hmm.
I like that stuff.
Love it.
I mean, his sister, I just feel like the character that she's playing, I've seen it so many times before.
It's
I've seen this really one-dimensional, really boring, just like, and I'm not, I would expect a more complicated bad guy.
Yeah.
On this show.
Especially with all the backstory we had about the supernova and the decimation of Romulus. They're just all about the synths. They don't even care that the planet got blown up and left behind. That doesn't seem to be the issue at all. They are just like the synthetics. I don't care about everything else that happened in Romulus. It's just like, that's interesting.
Right. Yeah,
so,
I mean,
a whole nother story.
I don't know. We could go on forever about that because, there's a whole Romulan social justice movement happening. like how do we help the Romulans? So that's a big thing.
Defund Starfleet.
Right. So so my last comment about Soji sort of brings me into the last question that I had, which is what the personal connection in these past 3 episodes for you? Like what resonated personally for you? We've talked about a few of them, but are there other things? Like Fran and I have talked about the sobriety and, and I talked about Soji and being that girl. What other ones might resonate for you?
I don't know.
Any? There might be none.
No, I don't really identify with any of the characters so far in particular, in my own life. Nothing like this has ever happened to me. But no, really, I except for like when you were talking about being so naive with men, that did, and that's probably why we are reacting so strongly to Soji.
To her being
all been there, where somebody has told us some shit and they ain't even trying, and we fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. But
more than once.
Last week.
Repeatedly. Yes, repeatedly. Well into my adult years sometimes.
Yeah, did it a couple times, a few times. But I think though, one of the things I did really like about the interpersonal relationships among the people on the crew, I love watching Rios open up to Picard, and Picard giving Rios his respect as the captain, and that little battle that they have going between them. He is like the most decorated admiral ever, and Rios is trying to be cool about it, but that scene where they were talking about Seven and Picard being in the chateau, and they were trying to figure out, he was all about.
You're talking about Raffi and Rio, right?
Yeah, and they were like, oh, that's Seven, that's the dude. But they were like, oh, he's in there talking to him. Oh my god. They were just going off. And I love the way he called Picard Jaffe. You know, he called him old man in Spanish.
Okay, Jaffe.
He's
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then a little later, he's going to call Soji sister in Spanish. He's going to call her little sis. I just love the way he throws it around. You know, it's just like, I just love Rios. He's my guy. I love watching him come out of that. I don't care. You know, everything is gone. I can't care about anything again. You know, I think that's a theme. The reclamation of, you know, he's reclaiming his spot as an active person that's in life, and he's going to do something.
Again.
Elnor reclaims his mission. You know, the whole time Elnor has been laughed at. They made fun of him. He doesn't know what's going on. He's inbutting. He's outbutting. You know, at the end of this thing, he's reclaiming his spot. Like, no, I am, you know, a warrior. And he goes, I will cover your escape. And Elnor is like, I'm back. You know, Raffy's like, she's going to come back. But I like everybody's reclaiming who they originally were supposed to be. They've been knocked down. And now they're like, all right, we're going to get back up. We're going to get this shit. And we're going to find these synths or whatever. But it's going to happen. I love it. I love it.
Fran, did you have any more that were...
No, I enjoyed these. You know, I really enjoyed these episodes and told a lot. And like I said from the beginning, I thought it moved the story along and the characters along. And I thought Hughes and Picard's reunion was touching. Every time I look at it, I kind of tear up because, you know, we remember Hugh from way back in the day. And Picard finally gets somebody that's on his side. Somebody that say, well, you know, you left me and look at all the stuff that went on, you know, somebody's finally glad to see Picard.
Somebody's finally glad after all these years. It's you.
After all this time, somebody's finally glad to see Picard. Everybody else done cussed him out, you know, cussed him to his knees and stuff. But Hugh says, you know, and they hug and, you know, and Picard even says, oh, it's finally glad to see a friendly face, you know.
He did. Well, with that, what do you think?
Well, I think that this has been a really fun discussion, and I want to say thank you to everybody for listening to us. We are the SyFy Sistas, and you can find us on Facebook at SyFy Sistas on our page, or our group, the SyFy Sistas Mothership, or our other group, the SyFy Sistas Black Science Fiction Book Club. And Subrina, where can people get in touch with you?
If you want to get in touch with me, please send me an email to Subrina, Subrina, at SyFySistas.com. That's SyFySistas.com.
All right. And Fran?
And the same for me, but instead of Subrina, it's Frant with everything she said.
And make it like hers. And
That's right.
you can find me at Tamia, Tamia, at SyFySistas.com. And you can also find us on Twitter. We are also SyFy Sistas on Twitter. Yeah, that's all of our places.
Yep. We'll put it all in the comments to this podcast, so don't worry.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We look forward to next show where we will be discussing what, Subrina?
Nepenthe.
We're doing one show there. Nepenthe needs its own show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Live long and prosper, friends.
Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper.
And keep your sensors on.
Keep your candor.
All right. On that note, bye, everybody.